What's up, YouTube fans? Today, we're going to take a look at the Fans Hobby TFCon Chicago 2020 exclusive from the Chosen Prime, their God Delta. So this is one of the biggest and most impressive exclusives ever made. It is actually limited, the numbers, they made 600 of these, so it is actually individually numbered. I'll show you that a little bit later. This is kind of a dream piece for the Chosen Prime, and probably for some fans anyway. So these are the Chosen Prime colors, the blue, silver, and black. And to have their kind of logo and colors embossed forever in the third-party world is just kind of a cool thing. But yeah, I mean, this truck looks awesome. Colors look really good. And they even changed the manual. You can see they put the Chosen Prime's logo on the manual. That's so cool. So it's a piece of history here now. Since we've reviewed this figure in the past, we reviewed actually multiple versions of this figure. I'm not going to show the transformations. I'm really just going to show you each of the modes, what the available accessories are, how they look, how they mount, and we'll move through each figure. I will show the articulation just so you can see, but pretty much we're going to move through each mode so you can kind of see what it can do. All right, so starting off with Delta Baser, you've got the really nice chrome here across the front, silver paint here, this wild neon green on the sides as well. You got that neon green, nice rubber tires, chrome wheels. Here's the back, it's just done in black. Those are the bottom of his feet, but that looks really good. Overall, really nice looking truck, but you got a little bit of detail up here too, some tampos, stuff like that. They did not spare any expense with the little paint details and tampos. You can take the Power Master here, so this is obviously a Power Master Optimus Prime. So here's the Power Master. They've redone this too in the neon greenish yellow. It's got the chrome here on the front. This will fit into the front of the engine compartment here. So we just line this up, push that in. Actually, I think you can push this in and then put this on top. And that looks really good. Now you can mount the weapons just like you could with the original Power Master Optimus Prime toy, which I believe they did redeco into this blue Delta Magnus, but I will check that. I have to see. I'm pretty sure this is modeled after another toy, but you can take these, and these will fit into the sides here, just like the original toy. Very nice. These are just a gray plastic. Then you have these, which are done in a different color scheme. You got the red paint here. Little things like that, little details like that definitely make this a more fun figure. But this will just fit into here like that. And there you go. He's pretty much fully armed up. All right, next let's take a look at Magna Bomber, their version of God Bomber. Really nice details here. You got all those silver paint and little accents and details, more tampos, translucent red here, clear windows here, which we'll take a look at in just a second, some yellow paint, silver paint, blue, yellow up here. The chest is nicely painted. You got these intakes, red and silver paint back here, nice red and yellow stripes all the way around, rubber tires with chrome wheels. It does roll very nicely, beautifully done. Now you can open this up, and you can see there's 3 little notches there. Those are for the new headmasters that they gave us. Sorry, I'm over here sorting through piles of accessories that I have sitting on the side. So they did give you 3 new heads, so if you want to put these on the original junior headmasters we got from Fans Hobby, you can. But the real purpose of this is you can put them here in their little robot modes, which is really cool. You do have to take this off. Unfortunately, you can't stow it with this. At least I don't think you can. So you take that off. You can get these guys in here, and you can close this up. And now they can ride around in there. You can actually see through. That's such a cool little touch. I know the original had that, so you could take those 3, but they didn't come with this guy. You had to take them from their original robots and put them in here. So that's just a nice touch that they gave you 3 new headmasters just for this set. You can also take this gun here. This comes with a couple missile options. So let's see, if you press this button, you have 2 options here for the missiles. You get the metallic red or metallic silver. My personal preference is metallic red. It just stands out more. Put this in here. There's a lock here for the shooting mechanism. So you push that in, it locks this button. If you push that out, you see the red. That means it's ready to fire. Just a cool little touch. This is the same as the original. This will fit into here, and you can kind of tow that around. But pretty cool. Now we can take this. So this was folded down. Fold that up. Bring in your Delta baser, and there is God Delta in his fully assembled vehicle mode. It is huge. If you want to display this, you really would need a long shelf, but it's beautiful, gorgeous, and it does, of course, turn. You can move the whole thing. Very, very impressive thing here. There are some other weapons. I'm not sure if you can store them all. Just for example, here's these swords. I didn't really find a spot specifically for them. It's possible that you can store them in this vehicle mode, but since we've got all this stuff on it anyway, I think we're good to go as far as weapons. You can also articulate these guns up and down on the Magna bomber trailer, so that's a nice little touch too. But there you go for the vehicle modes. Now let's get these guys into their robot modes, and we'll take a look at. All right, there we have Delta Baser in his core robot mode. The colors really look good here, so neon green or yellow, that all looks really good. It's a nice contrast. Here's the back. I still have the Power Master there. Chrome really looks good, especially on the legs. I can't remember. I don't think they did a chrome on the prior ones, so that's a cool touch, having the chrome on the thighs. Now, I've never liked this. I've said it every time I've reviewed this figure. Don't like the look of this abdomen because it's just gappy and it's weird looking. You can change it. So you can rotate this waist around. You can rotate the arm around. Rotate his head around. Turn the figure around. And you can sort of have this look here. I mean, it's an option. I actually think it looks better, to be honest. I prefer the look of this side. Now the hands are flipped. So if you really wanted to do it right, you'd have to take this apart and swap the hands because they're on mushroom pegs. Actually, let's see how hard that is. Oh, it's really easy. So if you want, you can just swap the hands. And I don't know, Fans Hobby's probably screaming at me right now watching this if they did watch it. But I personally like this better. I think this looks cooler and it looks a little more, I don't know, complete or filled out. But I mean, it's your toy. You can decide. I just prefer the look on this side over this side. I'm okay with the caps on the back, but at the front, I just think it looks more badass. It's up to you. But let's quick go over his articulation. So the head is on a ball joint, gets up to there, down to there, rotates all the way around, and you get the side-to-side quizzical look. He's got nice gold painted eyes. Shoulders rotate all the way around a ratchet, up to here on a friction joint, pretty far actually. Rotation at the bicep, double joint L gets a full bend. Rotation at the wrist, and even though we removed those mushroom peg joints, they're still nice and tight. The fingers are on a single pin. The pointer finger is separate, but you can't really point with it because of the way it's designed. You have here, let me put that back in there. Your rotation at the waist. There are hip skirts down here, but just also because of the way I have it transformed, I can get a ab crunch forward and backwards. Obviously I mistransformed, but little yellow accents here on the hips. I can tell this was definitely touched by the hands of To Get Right Robot, because that's the kind of thing he would do. Just throwing a little yellow paint, a little silver right there. It's awesome. Legs go up to there and ratchet, back to there and ratchet, out to the side and ratchet, rotation at the thigh. Single joint knee gets you 90 degrees. Nice tight tolerances there. Rotation at the ankle. This panel will move up and down out of the way, and you get a ratcheted rotation back and forth. So nice articulation on that joint. For his accessories, you can use one of these guns here. If you open this up, this is on a rail system, so you can just slide that down into his hand. And there you go. You can have that gun. If you want to give him two, you can give him two, because we have two. And these guns are a little bit on the big side for him, but it still works. Now, if you want, you have an option here, which I actually had forgotten about, but basically there's another gun built into this gun. So if you take off this front piece, you pull out this little barrel, he's got this smaller gun, which I don't think most people probably forgot about, but if you want that, you can have that. Or you can have the big gun. Me personally, I think the big gun looks obviously better. And there is Delta Baser, fully combined. Gorgeous. Got the contrast really stands out with the silver, blue, black, and this neon green. It really looks good. Here's the back. He is a bulky row. He's always been bulky. It's the same as the previous releases, but the color scheme really looks good. Now you can kind of change him up if you want to, but I just put him like this because that's kind of how I remember Power Master. But you can take his guns here, and we'll put those in. Yeah, there you go. You can also, there are some other accessories if you want. You can use these, but they're really meant for the God Bomber. But there you go. Me personally, I like, for this mode, I like it like this. And articulation is similar, but slightly different. The head is on a ball joint, goes up to there, down to there, a little bit side to side, and rotates all the way around. A really nice head sculpt in there. This is a different head, by the way. Arms rotate around on a ratchet, all the way around. Out to the side, this first click is a little tight, so you got to get it past that click. But once you get it past that, it will rotate up without pulling up that panel. This one seems to work a little better on my copy. Goes up to there. Rotation at the bicep. If you take the gun out, you do have a double jointed elbow. Rotation at the wrist and individual articulated fingers, which I don't remember this guy having individual articulated fingers. So I feel like they changed it. And I really am happy with that. Those are nice hands, nice fingers. I just can't remember. I'll have to go back and watch my own review, but I'm pretty sure these are new. I'm pretty sure these are the upgrade hands for this guy. Rotation at the waist, if you move these out of the way. I've never liked those hip skirts. They always get in the way. Rotation at the waist. No ab crunch here. These will move out of the way to allow the legs to go up to there. Back to there. Up to the side, all on ratchets. There is a tiny hip skirt here on the side, but you don't really need to move it. You have a rotation at the thigh all the way around. Double jointed knee gets you the full bend, so he's super bendy. And you have ankle tilt, ankle pivot back and forth, and then this little piston will make its way down into the cavity there. So really nice articulation on a big guy like this. All right, getting in close on the head just for a second, you can see he's got the painted gold eyes with the silver face mask, but there is actually a feature here. So if you pull apart the head, just friction fit together, you can see there's actually a LED in here. And unfortunately, I don't have the exact batteries, but you do need to take off the face. So come to the front here, pull off the face, and then the eyes right here are painted in gold. So you just want to pull those out. I'm just going to grab those. It's kind of hard to get it out with your fingers. And then you're going to take this, which I was like, what is this? And I finally realized it's alternate eyes. So they're translucent eyes done in the same kind of neon green. Right, we'll put that back on. And there's your lit up eyes. Looks pretty cool. I definitely need the right battery here to make it light up. But if you like to do that, you can use these translucent eyes. Me personally, I like the painted eyes, so I probably wouldn't use this, but there's an option for you with the head. And now that we have the head removed, we might as well take a look at this alternate head. So this is a brand new face and head sculpt. Amazingly painted. You got the metallic paint here, silver there, gray, gunmetal gray there, silver face, yellow eyes. Beautiful face. To put this on, I do recommend removing these screws. There's two screws, one on each side. Loosen that enough just so that you can get a little gap here to put the ball joint. Otherwise, you're pushing it onto a pretty tight ball joint. So get that on there and then retighten these screws around once you have that on. And they'll give you a nice fit. And look at that. That is awesome. What a great face sculpt. All right, next let's take a look at Magna Bomber. And here he is transformed up in his TCP colors. There's the back. This one is not my favorite in the bot mode. I think it works better as a trailer and or as the add-on pieces for the Delta Baser. But really cool paint detail. You got the black, yellow, and red here on the toes. Silver paint here, silver and black there. Silver with some tampos there, more tampos here. Yellow paint on the chest. The head sculpt is pretty cool. Let's take a look at that. So quite a bit of detail on here as well. You got the silver gunmetal here, silver face, yellow eyes. Pretty good looking head sculpt overall. And then you can see all the paint detail. Now let's go over his articulation. The head goes up to there, down to there, side to side, and it rotates. Not all the way around because of the way it's designed. The heads are basically two halves that come together. The shoulders rotate all the way around on a ratchet. Up to the side on a ratchet, it does have a little piece here that comes out for, it's actually for transformation, but it gives you plenty of articulation there. Rotation at the mid bicep. Double jointed elbow, or no, single jointed elbow, but it gets you the pretty much the full bend there. These feet have rubber on them, so if you drag him around on the ground, he will get stuck. So you kind of have to pick him up. So, but I like that they have the rubber because it helps stand him up. For the hands, you have individually articulated fingers, and you can get them straight. And again, I remember these not being this articulated, so I'm not sure if they've improved it or what, but you get an in and out movement on the wrist, rotation at the wrist, rotates all the way around. The thumb is on a ball joint and it has a pin, and then each finger is on 1, 2, 3 pins. So you can get all the movement you need out of these. That works well. The waist is on a joint here, so you can get back and forth and a rotation out of that. Hip thrust will move out of the way, allowing you to get the leg up to here, back to here, out to the side on a ratchet, rotation at the thigh. Double jointed knee gets you the way full bend all the way there. You have ankle tilt back and forth, ankle pivot back and forth, and then the toe can bend back and forth. So. And what good would Magna Bomber be without any weapons? So you can take this thing here. This will fit into his shoulder right here. And it'll fit, yeah. And now you have that. And this can go up and down and be posed. You can also bring down the handle. So if you want him to hold it, you can hold it. Oops, and I fired off the missile. So be careful about the missile. You just want to get that locked. So make sure you push in this button. And there you go. You can hold that. You also have swords. So you get 2 swords like this, painted and detailed nicely. These can be mounted on the side. So there's a little peg right here. So if you bring up his arm, you can see there's a peg or a tab there. And you can get these attached on his hips. So kind of like he's ready to draw them, or you can put those in his hand. And we can actually extend these. So these extend quite a bit if you open that. So if you push here, you can slide out the blade, and then there's the whole thing. And he can hold this just the way as any other weapons. It slides into his hands. It's a really big sword. So, you know, if you're using both, it is kind of a space hog, but pretty darn good looking. And finally, there we have God Delta, fully combined. What an insane robot. The amount of paint and detail on this thing is absolutely impressive. The only parts left really are some option parts. So you've got these two silver pieces which you can replace these. So if you take these off, you can just basically remove this. Me personally, I like the metallic reds. I'm going to leave it, but you can also replace the silver missile here for this red one. Again, I like the red. The metallic red looks good. And then the last piece here is the option head, right? So I put on the red one because I think that's what the special about this set is. This unique head sculpt doesn't come with any other set, only with this set. So there it is with that yelling head sculpt. Looks really good. That's a great display option if you like it, but nice that they gave you all these options. And I did want to show you, we do still have the headmasters here inside this control center. There's a lot of paint detail in here, the silver paint, and I'm not even sure if that was there in the original. Actually, I don't even know if it's silver paint. It feels like die cast, little pieces of metal that they put in there. So I can't remember, honestly. I don't have the original anymore, and I don't know if that's something new or if that's been there all along, but that attention to detail is really, really nice. And just to show you, you can swap out the guns here if you prefer. So I do have the swords mounted on the back here. They just tab in right here, like that. So if you take those off, you can grab the gun, and the gun can go in a bunch of places, but namely you can put it up here. Actually, if you close that up, then you can mount the guns there. That's actually a really cool option for display, and you can actually, you know, have it angled or whatever. Then we can take the sword and put that in his hand. I'm not going to extend it just because it's really big, but you can do that. Or if you prefer, you can take the gun, bring the wing down, and you can tab it in right here. So this has got an even bigger wingspan. It's already huge, and now you got that giant wingspan with the gun on it. So final thoughts on the Fans Hobby TFCon Chicago 2020 exclusive from the Chosen Prime. Let's start with the positives. This thing is a beast. It's really just impressive in person. The color scheme overall really pops, and it just looks amazing. Now, we have looked at this mold before, I think on this channel, but this one in particular, I just really love the colors. Get Right Robot, who was involved in the design, at least of the color scheme and some of the new parts. So there are some unique parts on here, so that's another positive. You get a unique head sculpt here, brand new for this mold and for Fans Hobby. You get the unique missiles here, red chrome. You get, I believe, unique red chrome here for this missile as well, and then some unique paint apps all throughout the figure, including on the headmasters, but also just on the figure itself. But the only other negative I really have is he's got a lot of stuff on him. I mean, there is a ton of guns and backpacks and parts, so he can be a little bit fiddly to pose. You can sort of knock parts off, but I think anything that does what this can do, you're probably going to have that issue. So that's a very minor complaint. Overall, highly recommend it if you can find it. I think at this point this is sold out off of the Chosen Prime's website. It is one of the biggest, one of the most expensive, and an exclusive. It is 1 out of 600. And just to show that, I forgot to mention it earlier, but on the inside of the foot right here, there is the number. So it says MB-06E 185 out of 600 is my number. So that's unique too. You get a unique stamped number on your figure, which we can't say that a lot for exclusives that are coming out these days. So that's it for the review. Thanks for watching. Thanks to the Chosen Prime and Get Right Robot for making this thing. I'm really proud to be a part of the Chosen Prime and a part of kind of this historic piece. It's just very awe-inspiring. So thanks to them, and we'll see you next time.